Hello and welcome guys. Here in this today's lecture we are going to learn about errors and exceptions handling in Python. We are going to learn errors and exception handling in Python, and in this lecture we will cover try, except, finally, more than one exceptions, else keyword, name error, and how to raise an exception. Also, we will learn about the type error as well. Let's start with Python try, except, and finally. Try block facilitate you test a block of code for errors. Except block facilitate you handle the error. And finally block facilitate you execute code regardless of result of the try and except blocks. Exception handling, if we see the example here, just a print statement with this just a without the complete exact code. So here it through the syntax error exception. Here we get syntax error with further description that it was an EOL end of line error while scanning the string literal. Here this is the string literal which is scanning through the print command. So this is specific enough for us to see that we forgot a single code at the end of line here. Understanding these various error types will help you debug your code much faster. This type error and description is known as exception. This is called the exception. So even if statement or expressions is syntactically correct, it may cause an error when an attempt is made to execute it. Errors detected during the execution are called exceptions and are not unconditionally fatal. You can check out full list of built-in exceptions of Python on this following link. Here, this is the link, and here you can see all the built-in exceptions in the Python base classes, and also the concrete exceptions, and these are all, and at the end you have complete exception hierarchy as well. So you can go through all these and learn about them. Now let's learn how to handle errors and exceptions in our own code. In Python, whenever error or exception occur, then normally Python stop execution and generate error message. Python provide us just a try statement to handle it. Just I'm running all these statements for sake of you. So here, if we see here example try except, then this example try block will generate exception because variable a is not defined. Like this is the code. If you see it is executed and exception is occurred. We are using the a variable here in print statement which is not initialized or not defined yet. This statement raises an error because a is not defined. So examples for many exceptions and name error. You can define as many exception block as you want. Example, if you want to execute a special block of code for a special kind of error, then you can print one message if try block raises a name error and another for other errors. Suppose we have just this code. So if we run it, then variable x is not defined. If you see here, name error except name error thrown this exception and variable x is not defined printed here. Else statement, we can use the else keyword to define a block of code to execute if no errors were raised. In this example, try block does not generate any error. Suppose here in print we have write and except something went wrong, and here nothing went wrong. If we execute this code, so welcome and else statement automatically executed and run over here. Let's see about finally statement. Finally block will be executed regardless of try block raises an error or not. So we have example here like try print a except something went wrong. The try except is finished. So if we see the output of this code is something went wrong executed because there is exception occurred, and this finally statement automatically executed regardless of exception is occurred or not. So here A is not defined, but it just execute the finally statement. So here just only one example to write the file. Suppose we have f is equal to open file.txt and write on this. There is some problem. If you see here, the exception is occur. Problem writing to the file. What is the problem? Name if is not defined. So if you see here, name if is not defined, so we need to define it first and then use it. So here the exception occurred and this exception raised and finally already called with it as well, and its name error shown if is not defined. Raise exception, you can choose throw an exception if condition occurs to throw or raise an exception by using the raise keyword. Here is the example, x is equal to -1 and x is less than 0. So exception, sorry, no numbers below 0. Let's execute this. When we execute this, then it's raised the error exception and print this statement as well. And this is the exception because x is less than 0. So raise this exception here. And here in type error, raise a type error if a is not integer, a is equal to welcome. And when we execute this code, then type error, only integers are allowed. So we're here, if not type a is end. So this is the check, and here the raise statement just thrown the type error. So this is all about the exception handling errors and in Python, and you can try all these ways for exception handling. Thank you and bye for now.